Is the carnivore diet good for you? Will it help your health conditions? Is this only something that was good for me? It was good for my health conditions because specifically I needed this. Or is it something that could help you out? What about if you have high blood pressure or diabetes or some autoimmune? Maybe you have MS. Maybe is this diet something that is dangerous? Is it going to cause you danger? Is it going to ruin your kidneys because of having so much protein? Is it going to give you a heart attack if you eat too much red meat, like you're going to hear from your doctor or on the TV, which seems to be the ones that tell us what to eat, is the health experts on your regular local news. And if you are a news channel, they always have like the health experts, you know. Welcome to my channel, Carnivore Healing 60 Plus. This is Karen Casey. If you have not liked or subscribed to my channel, I ask you to do that right now. That's how this information gets out and more people can get healing. And I remember when I was a young woman, and that was a while back, in the 70s, when I was a young mom, my first time in the early 80s. They used to have health experts, and they used to have fitness channels and stuff like that as well. I remember, I think it was, I can't remember the names of the people I used to work out with, but they were the epitome of health. They were just beautiful skin and the proper weight, and you just could tell that they had energy even after working out with you and you're a ball of sweat. They had energy to go on with their day. You just saw that in the people. And the ones, the health experts that would get out would have that same vitality. The health experts that I have seen over the past 20 years all look like they need to go on a diet. They all have grayish skin. They all have puffy. You get this, what ends up happening when you get really toxic and you've got a lot of toxicity, you get really mushy looking, thick, and it's watery looking skin that you get. And you can see that on somebody that is so horribly toxic. And those are the people that they present to us as the health experts, that they know how to take care of a body. But it's so hard that they cannot keep it themselves. Or even if they did try to keep it themselves, they are still like that. Because that's what Dr. Barry and a lot of the other doctors who are medical doctors, who are MDs, who, especially through this period of time, there was a lot of doctors that were converted over the lockdown. Because they thought the reason why they were gaining weight and everything was because they were cheating, right? They were eating at McDonald's and they were doing all of this stuff. So they thought, well, it's just that they weren't applying their own advice. And I've heard a lot of doctors actually come out and say, during the lockdown, when they couldn't go anywhere, they started to follow their advice to take off this extra weight. Instead of getting better, they started gaining weight and they started getting more health issues. And then they realized they were not giving proper human diet advice. They were actually, and a lot of them were just like in shock and thinking that their patients were just not listening, just not following. And they would, being doctors, they're pretty studious and probably one of the best people for, keeping on track, just to be able to go through medical school and what they put you through. They started applying these diets and were very strict with themselves and gained weight and got sick. And unfortunately, the doctors are the same thing. I find that they're still they've been psychologically manipulated into thinking that we need bread and we need all of these grains and you can't go to the bathroom unless you have grains, so you got to have fiber. You got to have vegetables. You got to have all of that to go to the bathroom. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about, you guys. Are you, who are on trying the carnivore diet? And I know a number of people are just listening to me, and you're just starting, okay? So you're just starting. You may not have done a whole lot. You want to help improve your health, but you really don't know where to go. For one thing, I'm going to tell you, go straight to Dr. Barry, because he has a video on everything, okay? He's got a video on every health condition, whether it is good to go on a carnivore diet. And you know, you have to look at anthropology. You have to look back to see. I know there's a couple of videos out there right now, doctors saying, oh no, we used to eat all of these things. It's bullshit to say that we were mostly carnivores. I have another channel. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is because it's very controversial, but I go into DNA. I go into anthropology. I go into it quite deep, and I read, and I go into a lot of the different papers that are out there about anthropology, about who we were in the beginning. We were hunter-gatherers, period. And what that really meant was we would hunt a big animal, and we would live off of that. And when we couldn't find any big animals, we would eat other things. And if we came across a berry bush that we could eat, we would eat. But most of the plants at that time were poisonous, and we didn't eat. We didn't go and make a salad. We ate specific a few things in season. It was like, that was one thing they used to say all the time, eat things in season. And so they would eat things in season as they were traveling. That was our most of us, and humans on a whole were super carnivores. What that means is that we ate each other. Okay. So there was even a tribe that I read at one time, in that, lots of tribes did this, actually. It was quite common in the past. For one thing, they would eat their in war, they would eat the biggest and the bravest enemies, because they would believe that they would get their strength and they would get their smarts. I'm sorry, I just in traffic here. So they would, and that still goes on today, but they would also eat their ancestors, because they felt that it was the family would eat their ancestor. And this one, I remember watching this one documentary years ago about this girl who was telling about when their mother died and how they did this, and they took a number of days and stuff to eat their mother, and it was part of their tribal religion. It was part of their so we were super carnivores, guys. We ate each other, not just our enemies, but our relatives as well. And it actually still goes on today. We know that there are many tribal people that are still cannibals. So, and we also, and then you get a documentary saying, oh, but these people only lived to about 50 years. Well, that is so not true. That is not true. The further back that you go into anthropology, into archaeology, you find that the people lived longer, not shorter. The average lifespan, you found that, especially even in the writings, it talks about, even if you go to the Bible and you think about some of the ones that they say that they were a miracle births and stuff, where they were giving birth at 60 or 90 years old. And that's what a lot of people are reporting, who are in their 50s, and I don't know, maybe even in your 60s, who didn't have a hysterectomy like I did, but have went through menopause and started to menstruate again. I know that they told you that you were born with all of your eggs, and that like that whole thing. We actually produce them and make them, and we can actually, yes, it is not something. It's something just like a chicken isn't born with all of its eggs. It's neither are we, guys. We may, I don't even know. Like, there's the ability to do it, but the eggs are produced by us, by our health. So then the more that women who have been infertile and have went through all of the different, have went on this diet and have had children because of this diet, it's unblocked their tubes, So it seems to give us a lot of vitality and energy. And like I said, I've told you guys I'm 63. It has totally turned my life around, given me energy that, I mean, I'm still working and healing. It's only been like 4 months, so I still have things that I can see. Nobody gets healed after a lifetime of eating wrong and poison to your system. Nobody gets healed in 4 months. But the transformation my body has made, and the really is just absolutely incredible. It gives me the strength to go on, and it gives me the strength to talk to you guys, to encourage you to try this. And I may not stay 100% carnivore all of my life for the rest of my life, and I may go into more into a low carb, adding maybe avocado or a little bit more of that. That might. I'm hoping to do that. I'm hoping that I can add some vegetables that won't be so toxic to my system. So, I mean, that is my goal. My goal is not to eat the way I did before, but to add a little bit more. For one thing, I've still got weight loss, and I don't want to do any more weight loss. So I may be adding a little bit just to slow that down. I'm not sure. I'm debating. I'm not underweight by any means. I'm still got a few pounds before I would be considered at the bottom of my scale of what I should be. So I'm still like within about 5 pounds at the bottom of the scale, because you got like 20 pounds usually that you can go. So I don't want to go there. I want to stay where I am. I think I'm really comfortable where I am. But I was very comfortable where I was before I started this diet 20 pounds ago, because my weight was never an issue when I went through this. I didn't know it was an issue, let's put it this way, because I've always been a slim woman. I'm just, 20 pounds on me does not really show, and I still look very thin because I have a very long torso, so I was able to carry a lot more in there and not look extremely overweight. So it wasn't an issue. Like I said, the issue why I did this was after doing the research and knowing about anthropology and about how we were as a species and how we evolved. I believe creation is part of evolving. I believe in God and I believe in creation, and I just don't believe in the one story. But I do believe how we started off, if you will, and because we come back to, we've got Cro-Magnon, right, and then we've got all of these different Cro-Magnon, and you've got Neanderthal and Denisovan, and you've got all of these different humanoids, right? Well, we come in the Cro-Magnon. We are a modern human. That's Homo sapiens sapien, because it was like the mixing of two Homo sapiens. That's what they do, Homo sapiens sapien. So we come from that, and at that point of Homo sapiens sapien with Cro-Magnon, we just suddenly appeared. Just right there, 25,000 years ago, or whatever it was, that whatever science is telling you, the dating system, which I doubt myself, it's instant. All of a sudden, there was these people that were fully, so that really does go with the creation story. That is anthropology 101, guys. That's anywhere you can find it, that Homo sapiens, that Cro-Magnon all of a sudden showed up. And Cro-Magnon was larger, had a bigger brain, it had a stronger muscle. Like right in the beginning, it was a much larger being than we are. We have degraded. Since that, we have become smaller and more fragile and less intelligent. But what we do know about Cro-Magnon, when we go to their burial sites and stuff and all of that, they were meat eaters. They were primarily hunter-gatherers. And they were, prior to that, even Neanderthal was the super carnivore. So when you know about anthropology, like I said, I've looked into anthropology and I know it pretty good. I'm not an expert by any means, and I've never been schooled in any of this. I'm just a researcher and love looking into certain things, and I wanted to know these things, so I looked into them. So by the time I listened to Dr. Perry and he's talking about that, I've already known about that stuff, but it made sense, because even though I knew that we were mostly carnivore. We lived longer, we were bigger, we had stronger teeth. We do not find cavities in ancient bones, in ancient Cro-Magnon, or even going back. It's only when you see when you see that they started to plant grains, when they started to cultivate the land, like in Egypt, when you start to see, because Egypt had all the diseases we had. They had cancer, they had heart attacks, they had diabetes. King Tut was a good representation of somebody that was malnutritioned. Even the statues of him show the bloated belly. He was not properly, didn't have enough. And there was retardation and all of that in there because they were big grain eaters. They had all of that. They had the grain. And once we found that society started, that's when the lifespan of mankind became from hundreds of years down to 60, 70 years, was when we started to have agriculture. So those are things for all of you can find, and they're so simple to find about our past, our evolution of how we ate. It's so funny that it took me a while when I started with this diet when I ever heard somebody say that meat, steak is your food, because we've been so pushed away from meat, and we think, no, spaghetti's our food, or vegetables are our food, but no, meat is our food. It's the proper human diet. It's what we have eaten since the beginning of time. And as myself, because I was a vegetarian, mostly a vegetarian, because I would add in, but I did go vegan for a period of time. I really did not do well on that. That was crazy stuff. But I was mostly vegetarian, so 90% of my meals were vegetables. I tried to keep breads out of it, but the last year I was not doing good on that. But I ate eggs and sometimes would have chicken. But that was rare because you were always, and I had butter. Butter was just like, I would never use any artificial stuff. Butter. I just butter. I'm a butter girl. And so but I was mostly that. And during that time of eating like that, without a great deal of fat, without a lot of protein and stuff, my brain almost fell out of my head. It became so small. My body became large and inflamed. Not badly large, but inflamed in that I couldn't use my joints. My whole, everything was not working. My hair was falling out. It was, I was in a starvation mode. Why I was like that. I was in a starvation mode. And that's why so many vegans, especially vegans and vegetarians, you force them, if you can finally get them to sit down and have a steak. Just even that one experience of how they feel after a steak, where their brain wakes up, it just pops up. It can change a vegan or a vegetarian right there. Because humane vegetarian, that's what they called them, humane. We did it because we were humane, not even comprehending about the thousands of birds and rodents and small animals like foxes and rabbits and muskrats and whatever all of these smaller rodents that we are killing by producing all of our vegetables. And then most of our vegetables, they ship them over from another country. So we're not even getting them from our country. So now we're using fuel to get them. And we have the beef here, the pork here, the chicken here. We've got it all here. And we've also got the vegetables here. It's kind of crazy, our system. Our whole food system, our food pyramid. They put on the food pyramid in the United States Cheerios with sugar and being better than steak. We're so manipulated into our population, making our population sick. When I walk through a mall now, I just want to come up to everybody, please look up the carnivore diet. When I see all of these people that are probably my age or younger, and they can barely walk, and it hurts to see how much pain they're in. You can see it. You can see that they probably, they don't stand doing anything for any length of time because it hurts, and it's so much. So many of them, so many of you are so desperately ill. My heart breaks. My heart is always broken for you guys that this has happened to you. It just, my heart is always, and I always thought that, well, if you just went to be a vegetarian, and now I realize, well, the vegetarian was still making me sick. It may have kept me skinny to some degree, but it didn't, my brain wasn't working right, my body wasn't working right, my emotions were off, I was depressed, I had anxiety, I couldn't handle anything. I just couldn't handle the phone call. I wouldn't talk to anybody, like it's crazy. So I had a thought that they should do it this way, but now that my body's been healed and my brain is being healed, I see now, I'm not saying that everybody should go carnivore, because I think low carb is really, really great. But if you are suffering from some serious illness, and like I did, where it was just really do or die, there's videos in the past talking about all the things I was suffering from at the time. It was a do or die. I really recommend that you start researching this, that you start looking into this, and have confidence in your ancestors. Have confidence in how you were built. Because today, if you give a cow the wrong food, you're going to kill that cow. If you give anything the wrong food, you are going to kill it, because all species have a specific food that they have to eat. And we think that we are not in this environment. We think that we are an invader. Oh, well, man brought that in, so we have to get rid of it because man's footprint. No, we are a species of this planet, of this realm. We are a species. We are made of the same element, and we have a specific diet. We have a proper human diet, and it ain't being a super carnivore, so I'm not recommending that one. But I am recommending that you guys look up Dr. Barry. Look up, the reason why I say Dr. Barry, because he has a ton of other doctors, from neurologists, cardiologists, cancer doctors, and everything that he interviews and brings on that are speaking this, that are healing people, and themselves have been healed. So that's what I'm recommending that you do. And I am at the place I'm going to be, so I want to leave you with that. The closing words is to live in love and light. And I will talk to you later. Hey, just a reminder, there is a PayPal link in case you want to donate to this channel, and also a Amazon link. So if you have any purchases you have to make, click on the link, and a few cents will go to me.